Welcome to Home and Away, a Tottenham Hotspur podcast hosted by myself, Graeme Spice, and Glen Cowie, where we talk about all things Tottenham Hotspur from both a match attending and and an international supporter's view. Glen, are you good?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. It's going to sound strange to you Northern Hemisphere folk, but we're second day of spring, so seeing an improvement in the weather. So yeah, I'm good, mate.
It's pissed it down all day here today.
This is my favourite time of year as summer ends in England and we start to warm up.
Well, I just feel grateful that we had a summer this year.
Yeah. You seem to have had a good one.
It's been really weird. Like apparently all of the pumpkins are like ready to go now. They're like a bit early. Everything's been premature. They're like all of the fruit's been and gone. It's weird. I don't know whether it was just the long dry spell we had through the spring or whatever. But yeah.
Well, Tottenham look like pumpkins against bloody Bournemouth. So, good segue.
Yes,
Before I do that, though, we've got your mini-me with us. Thomas, good to see you.
First time on video as well. How you doing, Thomas?
Yeah, I'm good, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Cool. Yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to... We'll go through a couple of things tonight. We'll go through the Bournemouth match, which shouldn't take
you went to it, so you can give us that perspective, because it was abysmal. I watched it on about a 7-hour delay the next morning for me. So, yeah, well...
At least you could forewind it.
I was at a 50th, right? And it was wasn't a super boozy evening, really. But I got in the door at like 10 to 12 and the game started at 12. And then I thought, that's probably a 2:30 bedtime. Don't think I could be bothered to ruin Sunday. So I got up next morning, not knowing the score, and wish I hadn't given 2 hours of my life to that.
You did well. Yeah, you did the right thing.
Awful.
Did you see it, Thomas, or did you see the highlights? Or?
Well, yeah. As you know, I was away. I didn't watch it live. I was in York for the day with the missus, and I tried my hardest not to let it ruin my mood. Although I was in the toilet every 10 minutes checking the score. I did watch the game back on the Sunday.
Yeah.
I think from my perspective, I can live with a team, whoever the manager is, a team coming to Spurs, putting in a really good display, but us having a go, and you just hold your hands up and you say, you know what? We've been a bit done there. They played well. We just didn't offer anything. Like, it was
reminiscent of a game from last season. We were poor. And I thought, actually, we got, in the same way that it was a tactical masterclass the week before against City, basically, Iriola did that to us. Like, we hardly got the ball to Richarlison. We hardly got the ball forward at all. All of the kind of passing lanes were blocked. Their press was really good. They targeted Porro with Semenya because he switched sides, just literally to give Porro a hard time, I think. And it really worked because so much came down that side for them. Yeah, and it could have easily been 3 or 4.
Jed Spence had the England call-up curse. He had a nightmare. Yeah. I mean, he was playing them on, wasn't he, for the goal?
Yeah,
he was out of sync, and he just had a poor game overall. I don't think anybody came out of that with any kind of credibility. Maybe you could say Bergvale, but then also I'd be keen to get your guys' take on this. A, I didn't really understand the midfield for that opposition, and B, why did he done my pet peeve of managers, and I'm already getting on him. He's only been in 3 league games, but he made changes on 50 minutes. Like, if you're going to do it, just do it at half time. Then, like that, I never understand that. I've never understood that about a manager.
It was obviously not working, right?
Correct. Why give it 5 more minutes? Just change it.
Pochettino did that, actually. That was a rule of his where if the team was losing or playing poorly, he would give, however badly we think it's a tactical misfit, he would always give them a chance to rectify in the second half. So maybe he wanted to give him 5 minutes, and it was not any better.
No. I mean, and actually... once we made all the substitutions, we looked a far more balanced team and far better for it. But I think the final subs came in like the 75th or around that sort of mark, and we had Udogie on, and then Spence moved to the right. We looked better balanced. We looked a bit more robust. Again, Bergvale came on, didn't he? He didn't start.
Bergvale came on.
We looked better with him on. Even I think Tell came on, didn't he, at some point as well?
Offered.
Yeah, I mean, it was the first game. I thought Kudus didn't really give much either. He never got a lot of change out the left back.
He didn't. He also didn't offer any help to Porro. Like, you can see that.
Unlike previous games where he'd been really, tracking back and defending, Porro was really a bit bad for him as well, because he looked really bad, but actually he was just really exposed. I think he just completely outplayed us.
And I'd imagine, like, from your perspective, Graham, you were there. I'm sure the atmosphere was good ahead of the game, right? You had Xavi Simons being introduced, like big, massive signing.
I'll give you the so basically, I got the train, I walked down the high street. As I was going past the old town hall, and then there was the bit where the Change for Tottenham was supposed to be doing a big protest. Honestly, if there was half a dozen people there, it was probably about it. There was no one there. I bumped into another streamer there. I saw him outside, and I'm going to speak with him later on. I won't name names until it's confirmed. But but there was I didn't see anyone. None of the people who are supposedly fronting it were there that I could see.
Well,
and also it was really weird. Like in the middle of the transfer window, we're on the back of signing Xavi Simons, and they're thinking about complaining about the club. It was a bit of weird timing for me. And so got to the stadium with I met Alex at Seven Sisters. We walked down together. He was looking for I tell you, we've got him absolutely hook, line, and sinker now. He's looking for a black away shirt.
Good on him.
So we got up. We got into our seats early because we wanted to make sure we didn't miss Xavi Simons. And he was about 10 minutes before the game. He walked out on the pitch, and so that was cool. So I thought that really lift everyone in the stadium. The atmosphere was pretty good at the start, but it didn't take long before it was clear that it was not going to be our day very early on.
Well, what was Healy thinking?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, watching that game, and I'll be interested to get your view, Thomas, but it's plainly obvious. Like, put it this way, I was looking, thinking, I'm really glad we've signed him because this is exactly what we need. Someone to offer something a bit different. But what do you make of that bit of business, Thomas? Do you feel that we would... Well, let me put it like this. Put this in the room. Is he a better signing than Eze in terms of age, what's ahead of him, and price?
No doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt about it. We kind of fell into it, really. It's been quite lucky the way it came around.
I think you're probably right. I mean, and because in an alternative universe, we'd have been done with Eze, and we probably wouldn't even have... Or it would have been done before that. We'd have been done with Morgan Gibbs-White in the previous life.
Yeah. I think... there's no doubt Eze's a top player. I just don't think he was a top signing. I just don't think he was a perfect fit for the system. He's not a winger. He's not a number 10, really. He's sort of somewhere in between. Let's literally play a system around him. They play a two behind the striker, but he plays sort of inside off the left. He's a funny player, really, Eze. But I think Xavi Simons definitely he has more of that midfield grit to play as a number 10 for Frank, as well as having the flair at the opposite end of the pitch. So I think it's a top signing.
A great bit of business. And
51
million,
he's also,
right?
Sorry, say again, Glenn, sorry.
£51 million, was it, the figure?
Yeah, it's good. I don't think that's bad value, actually.
4 million less than Vissa.
Yeah. I saw that. Just when you get... Do you know, but the problem with that is, we talked about that on the live stream earlier with Newcastle. When you're Newcastle and you've just sold Isak for 125 million, like you've literally got cash falling out your pockets. When you go to talk to someone about a transfer, they're going to have your trousers down, aren't they? And they know you're desperate because you've lost your main striker. You need another striker. So, but yeah.
Yeah, and look, just going back to the Bournemouth game, I think I'm not going to overreact, even though I maybe was a minute ago with my comments around the manager and all the rest of it in terms of what was he doing, what was he thinking. I think it's just one of those that you have to put in the bin and move forward. But I think it just brings back the skeletons of last season. That's what was worrying.
I think we'd all thought that, like 5 minutes of Thomas Frank and everything was right in the world when we've still got a bollock in us like that easily. And the problem is to iron those out so that we end up, more consistent. I think that's the necessity, right? We need to be able to put out strong performances on a consistent basis. I thought defensively we got a bit found out. I'm not sure. I think it was whether it was the formation or the players in the formation. But we were lucky enough. Vicario had probably his best game for us. He made about 2 or 3 really top draw, really, really good saves.
That tells you everything about the defensive performance. Yeah. It almost reminds me of a bit of an anecdote. Years and years ago, 2014 World Cup. I can't remember who the USA were playing. They might have been playing Belgium. And I came in the door and Lindsay's aunt was visiting and she was saying how amazing it was that Tim Howard had made like the record amount of saves in a World Cup game. And I said, that's not a good thing. It kind of reminds me of that.
If your goalkeeper's a man of the match, things didn't go well.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But no, he did have a good game, and he did too, because it could have been 3, 4, or 5. But I think the best way to move on from that is just... And the frustrating thing is, obviously, we all bugger off to international duty. I was about to say the best way to move on from that is to go and get a result against West Ham, but that's not now for 2 weeks, which is really frustrating.
I know.
Every year, it's the same.
And there's a mad stat: 9 times now we've beaten Man City, and then the following game we've lost.
And also, I think it's about for 3 years we've lost every game just before an international break as well.
I mean,
And
do they have
a lot of
one eye on
international
it?
breaks as well?
Is there something with that? Like, do the players have one eye on it? Do our international players have an eye on not wanting to get hurt before they go and represent their countries? You know what I mean?
I might have levelled that against 1 or 2 of them in the past, but I'm not sure.
No, I think that's just
I think so. I like to think so, at least.
Yeah. But then closer to home for you, Thomas, in terms of where you live, strange result. The City ground with West Ham going up there. So it was a weekend of odd results.
Did not see that coming.
Yeah, me either. And then obviously Brighton beat Man City as well.
Yeah.
Did you see? I'm not sure if it's 100% confirmed or if it's a joke. Marinakis, who smashed his iPad where he sits in the stands, smashed it to pieces
about
every
right.
game.
Well, did he sit on it?
He's a nut job, absolute nut job. They're still doing business now.
Yeah, I've seen. They've made some
Zinchenko.
really. Yeah, Zinchenko on loan.
Well, Nuno was saying they needed a fullback, and I guess he can play at left back.
Yeah.
When needed, but yeah, strange club. But
I don't think Nuno
talking of
lasts till
transfers,
Christmas.
I think I've actually got almost like an 11, but with options here for each business. I won't read them all, but one thing that's really encouraging to me is if you look now at our attacking options: Kudus, Odobert, Kulusevski, Simmons, Bergvall, Maddison. I know he's injured. Johnson, Tell, and then obviously Kulu, Mwani. Is that am I saying that correctly? Richarlison and Solanke. So that's a hell of a refresh, I would say, from last season. So I'm fairly happy with the business we've done.
And I think that at least this season we've brought. I would argue that we spent a lot of money on Tell, but he's not the finished product. We bought Odobert for quite a lot of money, not finished product. This time we bought players who are already performing at a high level. Actually great. So and even Bergvall. Bergvall's come good, but you could argue that we bought potential rather than the finished article in those players.
Johnson again on the left on Saturday. It can't be a thing for me. So I'm glad we've got Simmons in there who can pop out there if we need him. Because Johnson, he can't beat a man to save his life.
It's like, and there was one time there was a really good cross from the right hand side, and the one time you wanted him to be on the back post, he wasn't there.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the lineup, but I'm really disappointed with Frank. He's obviously just played the same team that did so well at City. But what do we know about Frank?
Yeah.
What do we know about Frank? He adjusts things. He tinkers his team. I would expect better from Frank to think that the same team that would beat City playing counter-attacking football with Johnson on Johnson on the left, Papsar as a 10, and then 2 destroyers behind him would not play the same way against Burnley at home. I'm a bit disappointed with Frank, but hopefully he's learned his lesson with that one.
We didn't have a single shot on goal at all in the first half.
70th minute until we got.
I think we ended up with 5, didn't we, by the end of the match at home?
Well,
against Bournemouth.
That 5 is generous because I think 3 of them were just p-rollers.
Yeah,
they weren't exactly bothering the keeper.
No, it was poor.
But
anyway, moving on.
Moving on, as far as obviously as far as the other bit of business, we've got Polinia in. We've got the Takai, the centre back, who's
we still yet to see in a Spurs shirt.
Yet to see him. Obviously, we talked about Simmons, but I think for every player that we sign, we have to include comments around signing Romero down to a long-term deal. Like that's a good bit of business. So I would give. I don't know what you guys would do, but I'd probably give out of 10. I'd probably say it's 7 to 10 out of 10 for me in terms of what we needed. You could argue we could have done with a winger, like an out-and-out winger, like a Savinho, like we kept being linked to. But I think we've brought in what we needed to, knowing that we've got Kulusevski coming back sooner than Maddison. But yeah, and then on Brian Hill and Solomon gone, so that was important. But what would you score it
Son
at?
sold as well, of course.
Yeah, Graham, you give it a score out of 10.
I think I'm gonna. I bet I've got to be careful I don't contradict what I said on the live stream. I think I said 7 out of 10. Same. I feel like strong signings. I still feel that there may be another 6, maybe more of a ball playing 6, more than Palinha. So we've got options.
I think he looks at
Still
Archie
think-
Gray to do that role, though.
Yeah, but I think there's a bit of. I think when he played well in pre-season, he looked better as an 8. A bit more marauding with the ball, as opposed to. I think we need someone who's a bit more. Someone who can win the ball, but then also play a cutting pass. What we really need is the destructive capabilities of Palinha, but with the passing of Romero. We need the combination of the two, really.
We
Well,
went to. I like Palinha. I should do a fact check on that. Actually, he said I didn't rate Palinha. I really do. He's a top player, but he's a. We've gone to one extreme with him. He's an elite ball winner. He screens your defence. He wins every header, every tackle, every 50-50. It's just in games like against games. City away, perfect. Burnley at home, I don't want to see him in a team, and that's not anything against him. But Frank has to know when to use him.
It's like we said, right? Even though we lost, we had like 61% of the ball. So when you've got a lot more of the ball, you need the players who can create something, like put a decent pass, and he's really not that. With too many short and backwards and sideways passes around him.
he's Scott Parker 2.0.
Yeah,
really.
but without the kind of weird little swivel thing that he used to do.
Well, and the as my wife used to refer to Scott Parker as looking like a World War II like RAF pilot. He always just looks so shirt tucked in, hair done. Always looks so well turned out.
Yeah.
First player I had on the back of a shirt for me, Scott Parker.
Oh,
Yeah.
brilliant.
I think though, like I think we were talking about Palinha and his passing range, but yeah. So against Man City, where we've got a lot less of the ball, and you need someone who's going to be distracted off when we haven't got the ball. He's much more effective, right?
I think I'll call it. I think Palinha. If you look at for example, I think he'd be used heavily in Champions League. I think he'd be like perfect for a really tricky Champions League away game, for example. PSG away, yeah, prime example, right? And potentially at home as well, depending on who we're playing. But I couldn't agree more with Thomas. Like a Bournemouth at home type game, had Xavi Simons been available and we'd signed him earlier, he would have obviously been in the team, and that could have been
had Sarr in the middle, maybe.
Correct. So you just don't need the destroyers in a game like that, and it was almost like we became so predictable. Like this is how we've set up. There was no cutting edge. We looked very blunt. So yeah. And
it was clear that they had a really high press. They pressed really well, and yet we still persisted with dicking about the back with it. We got ourselves into trouble again. It's like it reminded me so much of last season. I wondered if I'd banged my head, and I've actually fell asleep in the stadium last season, and I was still there. It reminded me of some of the poor games from last year, and I hope we never see anything like that again.
Well, bringing it back around the transfer business, that game, seeing Romero as an auxiliary forward, you know what I mean? Very glad we've signed a striker. I don't know very little about this Muani. Like French international, he's 26, so like it's not like he's a kid. But it's just a loan, isn't it? It's no.
Yeah, with no obligation, no option at the moment. Apparently, I read that, whether it's true or not, I read that they wanted us to have an option, or they wanted us to take him on a permanent basis, I think, really. But clearly we didn't want to spend the cash down now. And actually we didn't want to have any commitment on him. Someone said it slyly earlier, and I wonder, because he's probably available next summer, don't you?
In terms of a forward player.
Yeah, Harry Kane.
Look, I don't think it's a wild suggestion, right? He wants to break the record. He loves Tottenham. I don't think he's ever vocalised he wouldn't play for another Premier League club, but it would seem a player like him would not play for another Premier League club. So he
tried to go to City.
Yeah, true.
Well, how old would he be next summer? 32?
33.
33, so maybe. And we do. Oh, and of course we have an obligation, right? We have a buyback. We do, because Levy has said it. I mean, I've seen an interview with him when he talks about it. So actually, it's not a bad shout. It's not a bad suggestion.
But is the problem that it isn't the problem whether he wants to play for Tottenham? It's whether he would want to be involved in any business with Levy again.
Yeah, there's bridges have been burnt. I think on that one, there would have to be some recovery.
New management.
Yeah,
under new ownership.
yeah. Let Paratici take that
Look,
one.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it because I'd be more behind him to break the Premier League record if it was for us than if it was somewhere
Yeah.
else. I'd love to see him
If
do
he,
that.
if he goes somewhere else, he's fucking dead to me.
Yeah, always, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and then just looking like over the rest of the team, I think we're good in defence. Midfield with the signing of Simmons and what we've got to come back with Kulusevski, I think we're fine there. And as I said, like that front area of the pitch looks a little more refreshed because Richarlison's got a performance in him or he can break down. It's like the sublime to the ridiculous of him. So you don't know how many more games you could get out of him. So I think we've done fairly good business. But Thomas, what would you score us out of 10, mate, for the business we've done? Or haven't done, maybe, in your view?
If you offered me this at the start of the window, I would have said a 9. But now, I think, I'll probably copy Dad and say 7. Just because it's good, but it had the potential to be even better. And I think we've missed a couple of tricks, actually.
So I'm not sure what happened to we were heavily linked with Ademola Lookman as well, weren't we?
And
I think he was offered to the
Kanji.
club more so than we were interested.
Maybe.
But I think we brought great players in. I just worry about the process. Because, 2 weeks ago, it was well reported that we put in £55 million bid for Nkapie, who went to Arsenal as a sort of centre-back who can play at full-back. How can you put in what would be our club record bid for a defender and then not, miss out on him? Obviously, he's gone to Denmark over the road.
Another defender.
And yeah, I don't understand the process there.
I feel very similar. I think everything is opportunistic. I feel like if it was a focus area for us, if it's an area we felt that we had to strengthen, you'd think they'd have found a way to fulfil that. But at one point in the summer, we were offering 70 million for some centre back. I can't remember someone at
Zabani at Bournemouth.
Yeah. But like 70 million for a centre back and at the time we hadn't signed anyone else apart from Kudus, I think. So there was gaping holes in the squad elsewhere, and we were going to double down on a player who wouldn't be a first choice in the team. It just seemed a bit odd. Do you think that do you think we started the transfer window with Langer in the seat, and then later in the window that maybe Paratici took over?
But I don't know about that, maybe. But one thing I will say is I think it became a reactive window off the back of the injury to Maddison. Like, it became panicked. Like, as soon as you lose a player, regardless of what we all think about him, like, he is that creative option in the team. So as soon as you take him out of contention, the thing it changes things.
Yes, I agree. We probably panicked. But anyone who looked at our squad last season would have told you that we needed another number 10 anyway, even with Maddison not being injured, right? We needed competition in that position anyway. And we did, right? We went after Morgan Gibbs-White. Yeah. Was that before he was injured, wasn't it? Or was that...
I think that's Glenn said the Maddison injury was the sort of pothole in the window. I actually think it was the missing Gibbs-White. I think they waited because they thought eventually, there's nothing Forest can do to stop the deal. Yeah. And then weeks of waiting just for, and wasted for what?
The time.
Wasted his time.
I just feel that we always seem to start... What frustrates me is that you watch other clubs, they're doing business before the window's even open. Yeah. They've got... Players are signed up and then they join on the day that the window opens. Why aren't we doing that too? It just feels like we missed the boat on. And actually, I feel like there's like a 2 or 3 tier transfer window in some ways, right? There's the absolute top tier players who get picked up by the top tier clubs with the most money and the reputation to go with it. And then there's the ones that we're going after is kind of like the next tier down from that. Well, we've got the money to do it, but we don't have the reputation sometimes to sign those players. And then there's everyone else who we don't really want, but we end up shopping there quite often as well.
I actually think Kudus and Simmons are in that sort of top level player. I really do. Even though Simmons we sort of fell into, because we went for how many players before him.
But it makes me wonder why no one else was in for him.
Well, they were.
Chelsea
not enough to put the money down though.
Well, Chelsea, by the sounds of it, convinced him to join at the start of the window. and basically had him on hold and basically told him we have to sell this player and that player before we can strike a deal.
But why they were saying that, they were buying another 6 players. This doesn't make any sense to me. Chelsea, it's not really a football club, is it? It's like a bring and buy style.
I also think we have to put a little bit of stock into what Simmons has said. I don't know why he would lie, but it seems to me that he wanted the move, right?
He wanted a move. I think he would have preferred Chelsea be honest, if they'd have put the money down, he'd have gone to Chelsea. He wouldn't have mentioned Tottenham, would he?
Well, Van der Ven.
I don't mind. Do you know what? I don't mind.
Yeah,
as long as he's here now, and as long as he wants to be here, I'm completely fine with that.
I think Van der Ven and him are quite close from the Dutch national team. So I guess we're only really know. Well, two things. We're only really know until we get going, but then I hope he has to hit the ground running, right? We can't wait, because he's our creative option at the moment. So he has to start against West Ham, and he has to hit the ground running. He has to do what Ekitike has done at Liverpool, right? In terms of
the frustration is that because he'll go away with the Netherlands.
Well, this is it. I looked at they're playing.
All
Poland,
of our new signings will be away with their teams.
Yeah.
So we'll probably come back on the Thursday or Friday before the next game. So they'll have probably one training session or two at max before the next game. So we're going to be relying on them just being fucking good footballers rather than them being coached in a system.
Yeah, let me just. I want to actually look at the fixtures for, particularly we're talking about Simmons. So the Netherlands play Poland on the 4th, and then they play Lithuania on the 7th. So he'd actually be back. He should be back that Monday or Tuesday, the 8th or the 9th. So that's almost a full week. Not a full week, but 4 days. So there should be a little bit more than just a day or two to train. But point taken, I don't disagree.
Isn't there a cup game that week? Or is it the week after?
Week after. We don't play... Okay. Well, at least I don't think we do. Yeah, West Ham. So the 13th of September is our next game.
It's a good time to go on holiday, I think. International break.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. Well, moving away from transfers, the one thing, Graeme, we didn't touch on last episode because I completely forgot was even though it's not really a draw, but the Champions League draw has taken place.
Yeah.
In terms of our fixtures, we've got Dortmund, PSG, Villarreal, Frankfurt, Slavia Prague, back to Bodo Glimt, Copenhagen, and AS Monaco. And obviously Frankfurt as well, again. And Monaco's got a little connection with Eric Dyer.
He's there now.
Yeah. And Villarreal have Juan Foyth, who will be returning to the new White Hart
And Manor
Lane.
Solomon now.
Yes, indeed, if he's able to play, yes. So I think our first game is in a couple of weeks after the West Ham game, which is Villarreal at home. The PSG game is away.
We've got the third round of the League Cup as well, haven't we, around that week as well?
So we've got Villarreal on the 16th of September. Then we've got Brighton away in the league. And then we've got Doncaster Rovers the 24th of September. And then we go to Bodo on the 30th of September. So
an icy time.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel that the teams that we've pulled out, I feel quite happy with, to be honest. I think we gave PSG a game already this season. So they were the biggie, and then obviously Borussia Dortmund, I think they're at home.
We're four from 4 against Dortmund, aren't we, in the Champions League?
I can see us getting enough points to I think it's like top 8 go straight in, and then you play in a playoff 8 to whatever it is.
I did see someone, the Dortmund admin for their Twitter account was like, "We've got this team, and this team, and Tottenham," and I was like, "Hold on a minute, like." You with your monotonous, boring drum bollocks. We've beaten you 4 out of 4. Oh, we've lost Thomas.
I watched the draw, and we were referred to by one of the draw people as the Europa League finalists. I was like, winners?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, indeed. I looks like we lost Thomas. I just noticed.
Yeah. I'll see whether he can get it back in.
His pitch was a bit grainy, but we don't have a game to review. That. To be honest, mate, that was all I really had in terms of transfers. Bournemouth game,
that's pretty much it. I think I'm all talked out after the live stream earlier as well. But that was a lot of fun, and we'll do some more.
The only other thing I'll mention before we close out, I don't know if it's sad news, it's just unfortunate news. I see that Dele Alli has been released by Como after
I saw that.
one game. It's quite the fall from grace.
Yeah.
I wonder where he'll end up. I think I could actually see back to MK Dons or something, you know.
Yeah, he just needs to play football, doesn't he?
He's only 29.
I'm not sure whether he's. I mean, I don't know why it didn't work for him there. Whether did he play at all? I think he played maybe a couple of games.
One game, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you wonder what went wrong. Yeah.
Market value according to FOTMOB, £900,000. Do you remember when he was touted as £100 million player?
Yeah.
What a shame.
It is awful.
Yeah, but no, I had nothing else other to no game to preview. Of course, we've got international weekend, which is really annoying.
Yeah,
because I feel that we've got that wrong to right, and then it'll be West Ham. Interestingly, no team other than Liverpool have a 100% record. So all teams, we're still fourth. But all teams have dropped points. So
yeah, there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, but nothing more to add from me other than come on, you Spurs.
Yeah, thanks to everyone who's listened in. Please like and subscribe to the podcast to tickle the algorithm so we can get in front of more Spurs supporters. And as Glenn said, come on, you Spurs.
Let me be the one that you turn to, someone you can rely on, closer each day, home and away.